welcome everybody to another Chorus One podcast. Today I'm the host, Aaron, and so you know it's going to be about Avalanche, but in this case also about Cosmos. We have here Nathan Windsor from Landslide. Know him for quite some time, and he knows us apparently for much longer. And we also have Breevie from GoGoPool. He's working together with Landslide, and I will let them introduce themselves first. But we will be talking about Landslide and the whole idea of bringing essentially Cosmos to validate Avalanche layer ones and how this would work and what all this work that Landslide was doing to make this possible. So Nathan, perhaps you want to start? Give an intro.
Hi, I'm Breevie. I do growth things at GoGoPool.
Man, I did not think you were going to go there. I love
so I'm going to roll a d20 and try to get into the fight here. Roll for initiative. I'm Nathan Windsor. I'm one of the co-founders of Landslide. Good day, sirs.
Good day.
Good day. Hi, everybody. My name is Breevie. I'm head of growth for GoGoPool. If you're not familiar with GoGoPool, we are a permissionless liquid staking protocol that helps validators launch at half cost. And our mission is to bring blockchain to the world. And we believe the best way to do that is Avalanche L1s.
Cool. Thank you. Nice. So, we're going to kind of start then talk about a little bit about the Landslide, how it started, and you can kind of essentially give the whole trajectory. So, Nathan, what is Landslide? What does it do?
So I've been in the school of Goon and Kevin and Steven at Ava Labs for many years. So I was a Cornell grad, and when they were publishing their blog called Hacking Distributed in the 2017, 2018 days, they got then they published a ton of information very early on about crypto. So I've been following the Ava Labs team for many years. So where is this coming from? It's coming straight out of the Jedi mind of the right curve Ava Labs employees. When they started Avalanche, the first thing that they were talking about was what they called at the time subnets, which are now layer ones. So how do you create many layer ones and you don't sacrifice connectivity, you don't sacrifice uptime, and you can process millions of transactions. Goon has been hammering about this for years. And as soon as the subnet, the layer one infrastructure went live, I knew we had to build something to the largest chain at the time, getting the most attention, which was Terra. So we've been building since the Terra days, and we basically connected Avalanche to inter-blockchain communication or IBC. So any chain can now talk to Avalanche natively without a bridge.
Yeah, and this, so as I recall, you guys are going to testnet soon, right? It's
Yes, sir. Testnet. After doing brain damage for 2 years, our testnet is ready to roll out this month. Yeah. We survived a Halborn audit and an Oak security audit. Shout out to those auditing firms if you need some good help. So we're in the middle of remediation, and then we're releasing open source testnet this month.
Okay, and then for the audience here that is also a little bit technically inclined, I would like to know a little bit more what is Landslide testnet? Is that kind of an Avalanche layer one? Is it a Cosmos chain? Is it both? How does this look like?
Great question, Erwin. Let's talk about what the definitions of those topics are, right? So I'll put to you, what do you think is a Cosmos chain?
That's fair point. But so because when I first heard about Landslide, I thought oh cool, they are doing something that actually I thought about, but of course never acted on anything like that. But like I said, I thought like what awesome would it be to have kind of a Cosmos SDK chain, take out Tendermint consensus, plug in Avalanche consensus, right? And I recall that Landslide was trying to do exactly that. And so like, if I look at this kind of construction, I would say like, well, it is a Cosmos chain essentially, because it's just using another consensus. But at the same time, if you are already using this consensus, then why not use some of the kind of Avalanche magic and make it a kind of a subnet back then, right? Or layer one, like, and so it's also an Avalanche subnet or Avalanche layer one. So what is it? Is it like this?
Good question. The reason I kind of joke is that the interchain now is such a broad topic, and it's broadly defined. And what an Avalanche chain is, I think, will also evolve. The reason I also say it is because a Cosmos chain pays Cosmos validators, like the hub. And we've opted to do that outside of the ICS module. We're using ACP77, which is another module kind of native to Avalanche that allows any validator set to sign up via smart contract and start validating a subnet. That's where our partnership with GoGoPool comes in to basically match validators with networks. So we're technically both an Atom zone because we're paying the Atom validators, and we're an Avalanche layer one because we're paying Avalanche validators. So it's sort of like half marketing strategy, half economic security.
Yeah, no, makes sense. No, that's actually pretty cool. It shows like how, if you think about things correctly, you can be very flexible. So like the idea like is that we with this what's called incorporation of the ACP77, GoGoPool validators, meaning people that are having mini pools, they will be able also to validate that particular Avalanche layer one, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's
I think that's where I kind of come in.
Yeah, I was going to say that really. Like I think like you were saying before, like you have something to tease. So like what is it?
Oh yeah,
bring the rain.
So major teaser here. So for everyone out there, you can go ahead and head to l1marketplace.com. But for the folks who don't feel like heading there right now, I'm gonna actually go ahead and present this to you right now because
wow, you're gonna drop it?
Oh yeah. Might as well, man. Might as well.
Let's fucking go.
This is
hope you informed Steven.
Hopefully Steven doesn't beat me up after this, but it's fine. I've been doing jujitsu. So this is l1marketplace.com. It's the place to validate custom blockchains. As you can see here, we have a few different chains that you could go ahead and validate. Now this is just a teaser, friends. It's not fully operational yet, but we are getting there. I just wanted to show this to you just to show that, for one thing, the reason why we're partnered with Landslide, which is we want to expand Landslide's validator set as much as possible. That's kind of the thing that I've been working on very, very closely with Nathan, is contacting all of the different Cosmos validator groups. I think there's somewhere around 200 of them. So we've contacted a good majority of them. And then also as well, since GoGoPool, we have somewhere around, I think it's like 17% of the network is validating the C chain through GoGoPool. So I've also been doing the process of contacting those various different people to go ahead and get them ready and excited about Landslide. And happy to announce we have a Telegram group with, I think it's like 170 validators ready to validate Landslide. They're all ready to go right now. It's like absolutely huge. And they're Cosmos as well as Avalanche validators as well. So just very, very excited that we're able to unite these kind of two communities, and that we'll also be building a product to where people can very easily just go on a website, look at what different L1s that they want to validate, go ahead and just see those requirements, fulfill the requirements, and then just go ahead and click a button and just be ready to go.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna drill down here for a second, get nerdy about the consensus algorithm. Do you want me to drop it?
Always, like
okay.
always.
Okay. So the reason that we can do this, that Breevie is actually talking about expanding the validator sets like this, is because Avalanche uses a type of consensus called Avalanche consensus, or SNO, that has an unlimited validator set because it's probabilistic versus deterministic, like Tendermint is in Cosmos. So if you're in a mood to check my facts on this, you can just go and read the Atom white paper, and it's hard capped at 300 validators. And the reason that is because the people who built Cosmos, Jaquan studied with Goon at Avalanche, and they were like, Jedi masters kind of with each other. But Tendermint is sort of hard capped at 300 because it's an all-to-all consensus algorithm. So if you're in a stadium and you're trying to determine red or blue, you don't have, like, if you're in Tendermint, you have to ask every other person. Every person there has to ask every other person. This just doesn't scale well. But if you have a subsampling algorithm where you ask 5 of your drunk friends, is it red or blue? And they give you an answer, and the algorithm kind of weights it. So it's supposed to go one direction or the other. You get a much more accurate picture very, very quickly. So what that means is you can have an unlimited validator set on Avalanche that you can't have in native to Tendermint.
No, correct. Awesome. And then kind of moving on a little bit on the impact of these things. Like I would really like to know how you see, like, what's your vision that kind of drove this, and like what is it? How do you think that this will affect both Avalanche and Cosmos, right? Like how would these ecosystems kind of let's say interact, and how do you see this unfolding?
That's a good question. I guess let's take a look at bridge volume on DEMA. Just for some reference, I know that people don't, some people aren't familiar, but if you look at number of transactions in 24 hours across IBC, it's number one by a wide margin, which means, let's say there's 33,000 transactions, in 24 hours. These are all just Cosmos chains, these 85 chains. It's basically indexing just Cosmos, but IBC has now gone live on Polkadot, Solana, ETH, and so these numbers are going to start climbing. So what does it look like? The monthly volume is going to go way up on IBC because users can finally talk to each other from their own echo chambers, right? Like everyone here listening to this has their own bags, but I can guarantee you that their bags are not multi-chain. I can guarantee you that if you're trying to trade your meme coin and you want your meme coin to go up, it's only in one ecosystem. It's not both Cosmos and Avalanche. It's not ETH and BNB. It's not Base and Optimism. So we're bringing the idea of interoperability is you bring more users from outside your ecosystem to play in your sandbox.
Yeah. So you imagine that they will start actually trading with these tokens from external blockchains, and this is the whole idea of kind of bringing everything together in one big soup.
So if you're a Cosmos fan and you're trading NFTs on Stargaze, those NFTs are interchain, and we can bring them to Trader Joe or to Joe Pegs on Avalanche or to Hyperspace or any other NFT marketplace. If you're a sloth fan or a Bag Kids, those NFTs are only to Cosmos holders right now, but we can alter that with the interchain NFT token standard and get more users into those communities.
And to offer this from a user perspective, if you think about what we're actually trying to do here is you're trying to buy something that you want to buy. Same way as in Web2s, if I go on Amazon right now and I want to buy a couch, I can just buy a couch. I don't have to be on a specific network to buy a couch. I don't have to do all the switching around, go to this wallet, that wallet. I can just go and I can buy the couch. And so that's why I think projects like Landslide are extremely important in the ecosystem, because it's bringing us towards that actual interoperability that we see in kind of that Web2 form, but bring it into the Web3 form. So it's going to be very interesting to see, like, where that takes things over time.
And like really quick, like on the side of Avalanche, then you're also kind of implementing warp messaging so that you can communicate with other layer ones and all that. I guess so, right?
Yeah. So for people who don't know what warp messaging is, it is not a Star Trek episode or season. Warp messaging is basically IBC for Avalanche. So it's essentially, that's the best way to describe it. It allows all of the layer ones on Avalanche to talk to each other safely, securely, and communicate state changes in a way very similar to what we see at IBC. So right now, Warp only it's like, again, our own echo chambers, like Warp only talks to other Avalanche layer ones. We've just connected it to IBC so it can talk outside now to other layer ones. So it's instead of an intranet, and now it's an internet.
Yeah, but this will be already, let's say, live already from testnet on now.
Yeah, it'll be live from testnet on. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty.
So that means we can get like shrapnel onto like a test shrapnel onto osmosis effectively.
Awesome. Like, definitely like to see this.
Yep.
Cool. And I have also a question here for the atom holder. Like from their side, why would they want to do this? Why would they want, for example, like to essentially validate? It's a pretty obvious answer, but like why would an atom holder go and like say bridge via Landslide and then validate?
Great question. So let's remember what Atom started out as, which was like the internet of blockchains, and the Atom Hub, as it's called, is a hub because it's meant to be like a center of Cosmos. So the center, if you take a look at how the hub is developing, it's licensing out its economic security to other layer ones in Cosmos. This is called interchain security, and it's essentially a way for the validators to make money and monetize their assets, and also provide security guarantees to new chains. GoGoPool is doing a similar idea. So like you could imagine GoGoPool is like the Cosmos hub. That Breevie, is that a good description there?
I think it's slightly fairly accurate. Yeah. In a way.
So the hub is looking to monetize, and we're looking to pay. So the module right now is set, like the ICS module is set in a way that is a little idiosyncratic for the Avalanche blockchain. So we can't natively implement ICS right now. That will probably change through ACP 77, which we can go over. But it effectively, like, we've worked with Informal to ensure that we can pay the Atom validators in Slide tokens over IBC.
Yeah. And again, similarly, like you will also be paying like the mini pools on GoGoPool that are validating this. Also, like this ICS is again one of these foresight, the vision of Cosmos, like they already knew, and now the whole ecosystem is catching up. They're rebranding and call it restaking. But like it's actually was already there in Cosmos. So
yeah,
that's I think people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize this. Pretty cool. So if I say like the let's say utmost crazy idea using all of this, like could, for example, someone develop on Avalanche a layer 1 and then have I don't know, Atom or something as fee paying token.
Bingo.
Yeah, you can.
We use Atom as a fee paying token.
Okay, so the Landslide one. Okay.
Yeah, because like, dude, we're effectively like a toll booth, right, into and out of Avalanche. So so we want to accept as many strange tokens for gas as we can, like as long as it has enough of a economic impact to prevent spam attacks. But we have an Atom slide pair, and so if Atom users want to slide Atom, they slide Atom over, and they use Atom as gas. And then they're using their native token inside of a foreign land.
So the slide token is actually not what's called a security token in the sense of staking token. It's just really for rewards.
No, it is. We have to. So we have to have it for security. And the reason we do, drum roll, is because the only security assumption you have in IBC is that Landslide is live and Osmosis is live. So the target and the source chains have to be live and not malicious.
And
so
proof of stake.
Yeah. So the minute like a chain goes down, like if Osmosis went down, for those paying attention, IBC would just stop relaying information to those chains until the chain came back up. So hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Breevie, I think you were going to mention something. Ended up interrupting or not?
I forgot what I was going to say now earlier.
No worries, it'll come. Pretty cool. So I'm looking here to the questions. Like we've already covered quite a lot, actually. But
Erwin, I've got a question. I've got a question for you. Do you want me to? I want to give Chorus One a bit of love here. So for those listening, I used to listen to these dudes when it was Epicenter Bitcoin, which was like there were like only a couple podcasts in 2016, and Chorus One was one of them. So I've been creeping on Chorus One for a long time. Chorus One is an investor in Landslide since 2022, and we've been doing brain damage in the back room for a while. What really excites you guys about what we're building here, and like why invest during a bear?
Well, it's a lot, I think, to unpack there. But in a nutshell, I think Chorus as a whole, of course, like that shows in the business model, but it's also like a bit more principled than that. Like, is that we believe in the app chain thesis. I personally do, and also I think like a lot of people at Chorus One, including our CEO Brian and CTO Meher, like we are kind of Cosmos OGs. We believe in this app chain thesis, and that means that there will be layer ones and blockchain application specific blockchains, and these things will need to interoperate, or it's not useful. That's also like what Breevie mentioned before. Like that's a requirement. So anything that actually helps you kind of uniformize this, like make it so that you can buy the couch anywhere you want, like you said. It's of strategic and fundamental importance for us. Actually, perhaps people don't know, but I started actually as interoperability manager at Chorus, and then I went around and did other stuff. But the idea was really there at the core. We were working also on our own bridge solutions and things like that. Then we started saying no, but this is not really our domain, and we veered off and started actually investing in those companies that are doing this. In essence, that's it. Like, I'm not a personal believer of layer twos or anything like that, but that's another discussion. Don't want to go there.
That's an orthodox position.
Yeah. Like, I think the layer ones, and parallel layer ones as app chains are really the thing to go for.
Understood.
And so the question I had is here about the developer community. It's listed here as well. if this thing like now for the user becomes so kind of easy and like ubiquitous, and you can go from anywhere to anywhere, right? Like, what do you see as kind of impact on this side of the developer community? Because from someone who's going to be thinking of launching an Avalanche Layer 1, for example, like he's now has like a whole, let's say, different set of questions that he might be interested in to answer, right? Like he's not limited only to the Avalanche ecosystem, so you can kind of think about, hey, are we going to list on Osmosis or things like that, right? So how do you see like the developer community evolving here?
Yeah, let me share my screen here and go over the developer report stats.
Let me add it here.
Yeah. All right, cool. So for those listening, this is the top ecosystems monthly active developers on developerreport.com. It's from Electric Capital. These index all of the GitHubs, like basically open source GitHubs. So you can take a look. Avalanche has about 500 full-time developers at this time. Cosmos, which is Atom itself, has 683. Solana has 664 and Polkadot is 761. So why I'm mentioning these ecosystems is that we're connecting Avalanche to all of these ecosystems. It's not just that we're live on Cosmos, it's that IBC is expanding everywhere. And so when these these chains are currently like basically listed in a single ecosystem because they're not multi-chain apps. So that means that people have to constantly switch back and forth between different chains to do this, as opposed to if you want to buy Osmo, you can just go somewhere and buy it anywhere. Instead of going to Osmosis, you can just go to your native DEX where you shop all the time. Like Breevie said, it's just sort of adding a shopping experience, and you can ape in wherever you're naturally familiar.
I'd also like to point out too, so we see here in our Avalanche ecosystem, we have somewhere around 500 developers. And so then when we connect Polkadot and Cosmos and Solana, let's say that's somewhere around 1,800 new developers kind of connected to our ecosystem. That's effectively 3xing the amount of developers that can be developing projects for Avalanche or projects that are interoperable with an Avalanche project.
Network effects.
Yeah, so that network effect is going to be absolutely huge. Like even me and Nathan, we were on a Tech Tuesdays Twitter space, I'm sorry. We were on a podcast, and we were talking about the interoperability of kind of like our two ecosystems coming together and all the developer base. Nathan brought up Andromeda, who is very excited about this interoperability coming to play. Andromeda is, to give my high level overview, I see it almost kind of like Squarespace, where I can very easily say, hey, I want a store, so I can do this plugin. I want a calendar that people can easily book, so I can do this plugin. I see it kind of like that. Say, okay, bam, perfect. So you brought it up, and so Nathan kind of explained this on the space. This was my first time actually hearing about Andromeda. And immediately, because GoGoPool is building CockNet, for everyone out there, in case you're wondering, Cock is like a very large.
We're gonna talk about this in a bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so we were talking about like deploying applications on there, and I mentioned that NF Treasure, who kind of essentially is like a Vistaprint situation where you can bring a picture or meme and make merchandise out of it. They could build on top of CockNet and use Cock as their gas token, et cetera, bringing more utility to it. But then on top of that, if we think about the actual building of it all, they would have to do that manually. Whereas Nathan introduced us to Andromeda, who's now connected to the Avalanche ecosystem, where it has this stack where you can say flat rate marketplace, crowdfund app, all these different things where you can just kind of plug and play. And now, because these two ecosystems are connected, we can actually introduce these two projects together so that they can actually work together and make it easier for them to build on top of an Avalanche L1. And that's just one example that just happened maybe a week ago. So like, imagine what's going to happen, let's say 2 years from now.
Awesome. And so like, just to like also for perhaps there are people there listening that are kind of trying to build things. So this is possible because we have essentially like cross-chain method invocation, right? Like IBC together with WARP allows you to do cross-blockchain method invocation. So that means that like you can literally look at the contracts deployed on this chain and use it from this other chain, right? I think like it's good to mention that. But like now, since you mentioned that, Breevie, like more thoroughly from your side, like more broadly, how is GoGoPool working with Landslide? Like other than like, okay, of course, make the mini pools available to validate Landslide net. What other things are you guys cooking up together?
Yeah, so man, we've been cooking with Landslide for a while now. So for one thing, so like obviously we're helping expand the validator set. We've also been doing a lot of co-marketing with Landslide over the last year and a half, 2 years that we've been building together. And one of the amazing things about that is it's the ability for, like, obviously we are an Avalanche centric project, but when you bring kind of Landslide into the spotlight, you're also kind of we're introducing ourselves to an entirely new ecosystem, right? We're introducing ourselves to the Atom ecosystem. And because of that, now I have an actual reason to reach out to the validator groups in Atom and say, hey, like you want to validate Landslide, you should think about getting an Avalanche validator. Here are the reasons why. GoGoPool makes it cheaper for you. You get it at half price. Obviously, you get more yield incentives through our GGP token. And then, of course, you get our entire BD arm that's kind of happening where we're working with somewhere around 80 different L1s that will eventually be on that marketplace that we showed you earlier.
Awesome.
You can very easily go ahead and connect to them. But it's been really beautiful from a GoGoPool perspective, but also from an Avalanche perspective as well, because at the end of the day, our main mission is to help expand Avalanche, right? And so we can either look at the current community base that we have. Let's say if that community base is 10,000 users, then that's 10,000 possible validators, right? But once we start connecting and interoperating with, let's say, Cosmos right now, but then eventually, let's say, Polkadot and Solana, then we can expand this Avalanche validator base even further than it already is. And so I think that's like one of the huge things I'm also very excited about when it comes to the interoperability between us.
Yeah. Cool. And then so now talking about, just be more specific about for the CogNet, because you teased that there was shrapnel there, which is also amazing. Like I really want to do. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So on CogNet, so
I could just feel like the conservative, like, rise with a screech of horror at this. I just want to substantiate this, where we're about to go with data, which is if you go to Dex Screener and you look at by volume, like number 3 is Cockanu. Okay. There are 72,000 cock holders on Avalanche, and the meme writes itself. So where is the focus? Like, as much as we want to like go deep into the infrastructure, like, unless we're here for the lols, like, I don't know what we're doing. I
agree with that. By the way, I have to say that like what I'm excited about this is because it is one of the few where from what I discovered, from what I talked to people, is that it's one that actually wants to bring also some utility to the token. It's not only going to be like meme coins forever. I think that this is definitely necessary because like just meme coins there are 200 of them. So or more. So like why you need to differentiate somehow. And like I think that it's time for the whole crypto ecosystem to actually have some utility. Like it cannot be trading monopoly money forever. Like
look, I also push back that I would say Bitcoin was the original meme coin, and that meme was, we want a third ledger and we want to verify your funds, and the meme was trust but verify, and then it became like we need our own monetary system and a store of wealth, and like it's a way to hedge the market. But all these are all memes. Like these are all ideas.
Memes are ideas, right?
Exactly. Yeah, these are just ideas, and the idea of Bitcoin is a very compelling meme, and that's why we're all here. And like, guess what? Like we won. we won the race, and now there's a Bitcoin ETF and probably an ETH ETF and probably an Avalanche ETF, because we saw filings for Solana, and that's coming down the line. And NFA, of course, but I wanted to just kind of set the table around why meme coins are important, and like all tokens are kind of memes. Like they all have their own particular meme set, and so
I get it.
We also
I get it. Like go ahead, Breevie.
We also want this space to evolve, right? Like at the end of the day, every single sector of Web3 should be evolving constantly. I feel like the meme space specifically is kind of plateaued, not in its like evolution of its volume and like people actually talking about memes, but more so in the actual technology that's being built behind it. COC is very, very interesting community, right? Because when we think of the Avalanche community as a whole, Avalanche is a community of people who actually care about the technology. We're not like a bunch of meme boys or anything like that. We actually care about bringing Web3 to the masses and using app chains as a way to scale Web3. So then when you actually bring in a meme coin community, you build a meme coin community out of this community, it becomes a community of builders and innovators. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we've seen with COC. We've seen folks like NF Treasure who have actually built something on top of the COC community, where it's like kind of like Vistaprint, or we're seeing COCbook, where it's kind of like a betting platform built on top of the COC community. So it really kind of seemed like a natural kind of progression on the GoGoPool side of things to say, hey, we do have this developer arm. We are very, very, very in line with subnets, with Avalanche layer ones. Let's build one for a meme coin, right? And when you think about the architecture of an Avalanche L1, which actually makes it so that this is possible, and makes it so it actually makes sense. It's never really made sense before, right? Because you're building a meme on top of something, the applications have to use the original asset, blah, blah, blah. But now we can build an entire L1 that uses the meme as a gas token for all the applications being built on top of it, actually giving true utility to this coin.
Yes, that's what.
We had a community of people saying, "Oh, memes, there's no utility." Well, guess what?
Now there is. Now shut up. No, exactly, because that's what I wanted to see.
We've dragged the meme back into utility token land just to
shut me up. No, that's fair. That's very no, exactly. I love that. I love that idea, and I want to really like that it succeeds in the sense of like this community like start building up over there, and like there will be probably even games using this and so on. But so that's pretty cool. Quick technical question, like the CockNet is an Avalanche layer 1. You guys are using EVM style, like subnet EVM, what's called VM underneath.
See, yes.
Okay.
I knew we were going to go into the technicals. Unfortunately, I am not building out that. So
yeah, so I'll tell you. Yes. Dude, I red pilled Steven at GoGoPool, the founder of GoGoPool. I red pilled him. I dragged him kicking and screaming to Cocknet first. I was like, dude, you don't understand. This is the thing. He's like, it's just a meme coin. I was like, dude, go into this like community and talk to these people. They're ravenous. And that's what you need
awesome.
for product market fit. Ravenous cock fiends.
yeah. So cool. Like, and now recently, like, Avalanche released a few already kind of pretty cool utilities using Warp, like the kind of the trustless. I think it's called ICT or something like ICTT.
ITT, interchain token transfers.
Exactly, like this framework and the CLI for that. So it's gonna be very cool to see, like, when you guys launch. Any idea, Breevie, or you guys already can say something when or not yet? Like, it's completely still.
You talking about specifically on Cocknet?
Yeah.
I can say it will be here soon.
Okay, soon TM. Okay,
very, very soon.
We're also launching a soon meme coin. I think there probably is one, but we're gonna do another one.
Oh,
you know what I hear when you say that?
That is great.
When you say that, I hear it's gonna be here before the summit. I hear that.
Oh yes. We hope so.
That would be really cool.
Keeping my lips sealed, my friend. But I will say this. I do say this when folks ask me about Cocknet. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and it was an hour-long meeting. 35-40 minutes was strictly about Cocknet. So like this thing is, and I'm also gonna say this just to give folks kind of a little insight too. I'm head of growth, so I handle like business development, but I also handle marketing strategies. So why would I be in a meeting 2 weeks ago where we're talking about cock for 40 minutes?
I mean, I can venture a guess.
Let's open a prediction market on it. Like, that would be good. I think there's a cool project building a prediction market, a layer one, Avalanche layer one. So that's a good pitch to them.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some alpha here. Is that when X person wins Y election in a landslide, we're gonna really crush that meme very hard.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Cool. So you see, like, man, I'm really excited for October for the summit there. I think it's gonna be a great one.
Man, Summit's gonna be massive, man. We've been working on it ourselves.
Yeah. In fact, we're planning, of course, like it's not decided yet, so don't hold it to it, but to have a kind of a big event also like a day before, so to get people together, and perhaps we can have you guys over. We'll see. We'll discuss it.
For sure, dude. Let's definitely discuss that. I'm for sure interested in that.
There's going to be some secret guerrilla marketing campaigns that will be experienced there. It's going to be fire.
Awesome, guys. I have one more question here that I would like to know about. As you know, like especially on the Cosmos side, on IBC side, people tend to discuss that a lot, and it's still, so far I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, but so far I know it's not super clear yet. But like the incentivization for that IBC needs for the relayers, like right now, it's kind of a.
You've brought receipts, sir.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, is this a problem? Is it a solvable problem? Is it a solved problem? What are your thoughts there? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you've come to the right place. Yes, we have solved the problem. For those who don't know what we're talking about, so IBC relayers are just like validators. They're infrastructure providers. Chorus One is an IBC relayer. and we're grateful to have you on board. Thank you so much. But being a relayer is not always profitable, and what he's referring to is that in Cosmos, it's sort of relayers suffer from a tragedy of the commons in that they relay, but they don't necessarily make money on relaying; they make money on validating. So we're paying. We're paying IBC relayers in slide tokens when they're on when they're communicating with us, and we're working to bootstrap and pay relayers in slides so that we can make relaying more sustainable. Because otherwise, you need to have common goods like public goods that are public good. And function, and if people can't, pay for their services there, it creates serious blackout problems and down the line. So that's our a big shout out to the Strangelove team that helped us build our IBC Lite client, and to the ICF for a grant to build this open source project. A lot of this stuff is heavy public goods, completely open source infrastructure, and we couldn't have done it without help from the ICF and from Strangelove. So big shout out to our partners there.
No, makes sense. Cool, thank you. I think we're getting to the end here. Any kind of last thoughts or things like you would like to still say or discuss or talk about?
Yeah, I'm curious how we're gonna build cross-chain SocialFi apps. Like a lot of what we're seeing is each chain sort of spinning up their own SoFi apps. So in Avalanche, it's called the Arena. There's also Farcaster. There's a ton of interesting Solana SoFi stuff that's going on in Twitter, and we really hope to communicate with those teams and get our users to them and kind of vice versa. So a lot of these SoFi apps are just have very niche audiences, and we're definitely going to target them for slide airdrops, so that we can encourage SoFi to become cross chain as well. Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine that it would be interesting for these projects to come around and kind of essentially define a kind of an API, right? An interface, on-chain interface, so that you can kind of essentially kind of see users from different chains in your own application, for example. That would be pretty cool. It's not it's not unheard of in Web2, so I don't see why it couldn't be done here.
Exactly. So we'll see a SoFi aggregator where it's sort of like Reddit, right? Like each subreddit is its own chain, I guess.
Yeah. What I think what my wish is that these SocialFi applications, when they start growing, that they also quickly go towards decentralization of the assets. And by asset, I mean the actual posts, the artifacts that are produced by these things. Because still right now it's a lot of we are kind of it's on chain, and we have the tickets are on chain and it's decentralized, and that's awesome. But actually the material that is there is what's important, and this is still pretty much centralized.
It's sort of your social graph.
Social graph, in my posts, right? We in an again app chain, right? That's why it's so cool, because in an app chain layer 1, you can actually have dedicated infrastructure to kind of host and query and do things like this, and then have the whole thread post decentralized and preserved over there, kind of like permalinks and so on.
Yeah,
so this would be I would like to see this, and there are pretty cool techniques to do that. So
agreed. I think it'd be really neat.
Okay, then I think that's it, guys. We are kind of running a little bit long.
Okay, great.
It was great to have you guys. It was a really cool conversation. Kind of a LOL, like you say, Nathan, all for the LOLs, but it was pretty deep, actually. It was really got to know quite a lot about the two projects.
Yeah.
Great.
So thanks for that. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for having us on.
No, thank you. And yeah, we will keep in touch for also like a future co-hosting, or like perhaps a follow up on this when you guys are live.
Yeah, well, we have some tricks up our sleeve, and we're glad to have you on board. Thanks so much for hosting us.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.